Valentine's Day is just 2 days away, so if you haven't made dinner reservations at some fancy restaurant yet, you're going to want to listen up. We're here at Fareway's meat counter with their registered dietitian, Whitney Packebush. And Whitney, today you're going to tell us how to make a Valentine's dinner for two.
Exactly, because sometimes you don't want to go out to eat and you want to eat at home, but you also want those meals to be healthy because you want your sweetie to be with you for a while. So we're going to look at some specific cuts of meat, that are tender and flavorful, but also healthy at the same time.
So what do we have here?
So these are two cuts that I really love. The top sirloin petite roast is one of them, and then we also have their corresponding fillets. So it's actually the same cut of meat. One is just cut into fillets, which you can do at home, or you can have someone behind the meat counter do for you. And these are so great because it's a roast that actually eats like a steak, because it's kind of one of those you can put it in the oven and forget about it until it's ready, and then take it out when it's done, and you have this great meal. And these fillets are so nice because they come in nice portion sizes already for you. And when you're cooking them, you just want to make sure that for medium rare, you cook it to 135, and for medium to about 150, and then let it rest for 5 or 10 minutes before you cut into it.
And I know that cooking in the wintertime can be a little bit difficult because you don't have that grill that you can grill outside. Exactly.
I mean, we've been pretty lucky with the snow so far this year, but you can cook these in the oven, roast them at about 325 for about half an hour per pound is a rough guide. But always checking your meat thermometer to see what the internal temperature is, because that's really the only way you're going to know when it's done.
And can you also pan-sear them?
You can pan-sear them first to really lock in those juices, about 2 minutes on each side, and then throw them in the oven at about 325. And that's also a good way if you have a bunch of people coming over for Valentine's Day. You can make a bunch of fillets at one time by pan-searing them all and then putting them all in the oven.
So what are some other meat options for Valentine's Day?
In the beef category, another one we have is our boneless ribeye steak. And it's not a lean cut, so you really want to make sure you watch your portion sizes, which is about the size of your palm once it's cooked. But if you butterfly this open, it actually comes out to look just like a heart, which, I mean, how perfect is that for Valentine's Day? So you can do that at home or have someone at your local meat counter do it for you.
So if people want something other than beef, what are their options?
So we're here at the Fresh Pork Case, and one thing that I really like to recommend is the Fresh Chairman's Reserve Pork Tenderloin, because this is a really great piece of meat for a couple people, and it also is leaner than a boneless, skinless chicken breast, so you get all those great vitamins and minerals, but really hardly any fat at all.
So Whitney, I've never cooked pork before, so how do you do it?
One thing you really want to be careful of is the temperature, like we talked about beef, and the guidelines for cooking whole muscle cuts of pork has actually changed recently. So you can cook it to medium, which is 145 degrees. It used to be 160, but now you can cook it a little lower to 145.
Well, Whitney, thank you so much for talking to us today. If viewers at home have any other questions about how to cook their meats or have any other health questions, how can they get in contact with you?
You can find me at Fareway.com. You can email me at sensiblehealth@farewaystores.com, and you can always ask one of our meat experts behind the counter for any of the questions you might have.